Hey Joe, welcome to our first coronavirus virtual session. This week, what we're going to take a look at are different issues associated with archives and cultural institutions that are in jeopardy. These are institutions that have been affected by flood, fire, damage. So let's dig in and take a look at this week. First things first, just because you were born in the 2000s and you may not know about fire and rain, there's a brief introduction to James Taylor. I feel like I can't use a reference from James Taylor without educating you on who he is. So just take a minute, check this guy out. All right, so let's talk about our weekly readings. So the expectations for our readings are that you will read all of it. So go ahead and make the assumption that our readings are required. While there are quite a few things listed here, don't let that scare you off. The readings that I have selected are informal sources. They're still reliable sources. I also chose things that were shorter, and I also chose things that had lots of pictures so that you could see the damage that we are looking at that have happened to these archives and cultural institutions. The two disasters that we're going to take a look at this week are the 1966 flood of the Arno, which devastated the city of Florence. It almost completely destroyed two major archive and museum institutions. They are still, even 50 years later, recovering from this flood situation. And so the readings that we look at this week introduce you to the event itself, the implications this many years later, and then what these institutions look like now and the efforts they went to save their materials. The other incident is from 2009, the city of Cologne in Germany. Their archive building collapsed. It was a 6-story building that completely collapsed. Their collection dated back to the mid-900s. So think about that. That collection is almost like half as old as Jesus. My math's a little wrong, but still close enough. 10 years later, well, we're still about 12 years later, close in there, we are still dealing with the aftermath of that devastation. This last link here, Archiving in the Networked World, Betting on the Future. This digs into, it's from 2009, issues that archivists raised about how do we protect our collections. And so reading this particular article is going to be very important and tie into our work next week. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at your assignment this week. So we are going to do a reflection journal, and so your prompt is here. So with your reflection journals, I am happy for your writing to be informal. There's no specific need to include in-text citations and references, but I do have an expectation that you will provide a thoughtful and critical analysis of your readings this week and bring those together in a synthesized way. So really kind of take into consideration what these implications for these disasters mean for archives, what this means for historians and for historical research. Let's see, where else was I going with this? Always explain why. Provide examples. I don't want you to just say, here's the answer, without providing your thought and your reasoning behind it. All right, if you have any questions, please email me and let me know. I will be available through email, and I look forward to seeing your reactions to this week's readings. All right, I will catch up with you later. Stay happy and healthy, and I will see you.